Welcome to MasterTrack. MasterTrack is a math program that helps educators and schools accelerate math learning recovery for all students by ensuring that students have fully mastered prerequisite core skills while still moving through grade level material. In this introductory video, we will provide you with an overview of the MasterTrack program as well as tips for getting started, such as setting up your account, accessing the benchmark assessments, entering benchmark data, viewing class reports, and accessing our support resources. Our support really begins with helping schools prioritize their learning recovery work by focusing on the core foundational areas in elementary math. Within each core area lives a progression of math skills that are sequential and build on themselves, like building blocks. We know that if students get tripped up somewhere along the way, it can make it difficult for them to access new learning. It's not impossible. Of course, through wonderful and rich low-floor, high-ceiling activities, we can foster strong foundations in math for all students. But we also know that it is critical for us to have a snapshot of where our students are on those core skill progressions so that we can be sure they also get the targeted support they need in the classroom. MasterTrack provides educators with the framework they need to focus on those core areas, identify where students are along the skill progressions they encompass, and support all students to help them grow and succeed in K-8 math and beyond. So, what does focusing our work and identifying student learning needs look like? Most MasterTrack educators start off by using our research-based and teacher-approved focus standards to prioritize their work. They then capture baseline feedback from students on these core skills. In the classroom, you can use our K-8 benchmark assessments, which are tightly aligned to those core skills. Or, if you prefer, you can also use any of your own assessments that are also aligned to those core skill areas. Many teachers gather student feedback online by administering our benchmark using Google Slides or other online markup tools, or through online assessment programs like Extra Math. However you choose to gather that baseline feedback on those core skills, your MasterTrack benchmark score sheet is what allows you to collect it all in one place, using our simple 3-point standards-based grading scale. You can then generate clear and concise reports that highlight where individual students appear to be along the skill progressions. Our class reports enable you to get an overview of your class-wide or whole group learning needs, and to identify trends, such as where individual students may need support across all standards, or where a whole class may need support across an individual standard. This helps to inform instructional decision-making, for example, whether you might choose to support certain skills through some whole group work, or within smaller learning groups. Using the MasterTrack Learning Groups Builder, you can build out groups for a set block of time, ensuring all students are placed in targeted learning groups that meet their unique needs. Or you can have the program display all groups of students in need of reteach support on specific skills, all students who could benefit from additional practice in certain areas, or all of those students who may be ready for enrichment on certain skills. Once you have identified where you will begin focusing your work, you can begin accelerating student learning recovery. MasterTrack does the heavy lifting by specifically identifying which students need to work on which standards. You can then support these learning needs through whole group or small group instruction, either in the classroom or in distance learning. MasterTrack gives you the flexibility to decide when and how you want to implement this learning recovery work. However, most MasterTrack teachers dedicate one day each week for learning recovery purposes, spending the remainder of the week moving through grade level scope and sequence. After working on an area of need, teachers then check for improved and retained understanding by administering one of our MasterTrack checkpoint assessments, or any other similar style exit ticket or short formative assessment that you might prefer that is also aligned to that specific standard that you and your students worked on. This formative checkpoint assessment feedback is then folded back into MasterTrack so that you can continue to accelerate student learning recovery based on your students' evolving learning needs throughout the year. As the school year progresses, many teachers begin to prioritize their learning recovery work to focus on those skills that are prerequisite for upcoming grade level instruction. This tight feedback and response cycle leads to rapid learning gains, and MasterTrack allows you to track these gains and celebrate this growth at the individual level, as well as class-wide or whole group. MasterTrack is not a curriculum, but we are former classroom teachers, and we do provide a variety of resources to support our MasterTrack educators. This support begins with our coaching center, which is full of teaching resources and supports. Throughout the year, you will also have free access to attend our MasterTrack user webinars and forums, and will routinely receive issues of our newsletter, MasterTrack News. We also encourage our users to join our Facebook group, the Elementary Math Learning Resource Exchange, where K-8 math educators can come together to share teaching ideas and resources. You can also meet with one of our MasterTrack coaches anytime you need additional support. Simply schedule a 20-minute coaching session through our coaching center, and one of our friendly and experienced coaches can help you analyze data, set goals, identify helpful teaching resources, and/or help you plan for and structure your learning recovery work. Getting started with MasterTrack is easy. Once you receive your activation link, you will want to go ahead and activate your account. Once you've activated your account, you will find yourself in your MasterTrack dashboard page. And the first thing you'll probably want to do is set up your class. So, you will simply add a class to your class drop-down menu on the right-hand side of your MasterTrack menu bar, or by simply selecting Add a Class from the Quick Links box at the right-hand side of your screen. The program will walk you through how to add your class. You can import your class list from an Excel spreadsheet or enter in student names manually. Once you've added a class, you will want to access our benchmark assessments so that you can begin to gather that baseline feedback on those core skill areas and begin your learning recovery work. Simply select Benchmark Assessments from the Benchmarks drop-down menu on the top left side of your MasterTrack menu bar. Once you've done that, you will simply select the benchmark you plan to administer. And remember, you can always use your own assessments if you prefer. Most teachers, however, do choose to use our benchmark assessments to gather their baseline feedback. Our benchmarks are straightforward and easy to administer. They include one question for each of the core standards and include, on average, about 15 questions. They are electronic PDFs that can be downloaded and printed to administer paper and pencil in the classroom, or used in online markup tools such as Google Slides. However you decide to gather this data, our strong recommendation is that you gather it in a piecemeal fashion. This is because our goal is to gain as accurate a snapshot as we can about student learning, and we don't want this feedback to be impacted by fatigue or student burnout. So most teachers administer a few questions a day or a few pages a week with the goal of completing the benchmark assessment over the course of about 2 to 3 weeks. Once you've gathered your baseline benchmark feedback, you will then enter it by accessing your benchmark score sheet. Simply select Benchmark Score Sheet from the drop-down menu or enter benchmark data from the quick reference cycle on your dashboard screen. Clicking on either will bring you to your benchmark score sheet, where you will simply click and enter the scores from your benchmark feedback. If at any time you would like to return to your MasterTrack dashboard page, you can simply click on the MasterTrack logo at the top left corner of your screen. This will bring you right back to your MasterTrack home screen. Once you've entered your benchmark data, you can generate your first class report by simply selecting Class Report from the Reports drop-down menu, or by clicking on View Class Reports in the cycle graphic on your dashboard screen. Either will enable you to generate your very first class-wide report, showing you where your students are and where you may want to prioritize your instruction. Remember as well along the way that we have all of those teaching resources for you at our coaching center. You can access the coaching center anytime by simply selecting Coaching Center on your MasterTrack menu bar. This will bring you to our MasterTrack Coaching Center, where you can learn more about getting started, view and download our focus standards and skill progressions, learn more about our acceleration cycle, locate helpful teaching resources, and get any support you may need along the way by clicking Get Help. Our Get Help section is where you can find training videos, frequently asked questions, and meet with a coach. To meet with a coach, you will simply click the Meet with a Coach icon and then schedule a 20-minute coaching session to speak with one of our friendly coaches who can help you analyze your data, identify helpful resources, and help you develop a plan for success. And that is it for getting started with MasterTrack. Welcome, and we look forward to supporting you this year.